All right.
Okay. Hello.
Hi,
everyone.
everybody. Welcome. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry.
Pretty good
I hit
at
the wrong
that.
button. I hit the wrong button.
I don't know what
Welcome
you
to
hit.
Two Sisters and One Brain podcast. I'm Vicky.
And I'm Liz.
Today, we're going to be discussing the video game Spyro.
Well, we're going to be discussing the first 3 games in the series of Spyro the Dragon.
Well, the trilogy. The originals and the remake. The remaster, whatever they call it.
Reignited or whatever bull crap they had to use.
Yeah, but we're going to discuss all of them.
Yes. So buckle up, because here it comes.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. Did you want to ask me anything?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to? Well, there are 3 games in the original series that we're discussing that were on the PlayStation. Like, they were original PlayStation games. As far as I'm concerned, that and Crash were the PlayStation games that we played.
And they both came out around the same time, too.
Yeah. They may as well have been the PlayStation mascots because they were exclusive to PlayStation at that time, but they never did brand specifically with Sony. All right. Go ahead and tell us the plot of the first game, Vicky.
The first one. Okay. So the plot for Spyro, he has to travel around different little, I guess you would call them worlds, different little worlds to free all the dragons who were frozen, I guess. They were either frozen or they were turned to stone. I can't really tell the difference because, it could be stone or they could be ice. I don't know.
I thought it was like a crystal. I thought that's what they said. So basically more stone than ice, but yeah, they look like ice-ish.
Either way, they're
trapped.
They're trapped in place.
Look like statues now.
By a big meanie named Nork, who apparently is ugly, and he did not like being called ugly, so that's why he froze everybody. And Spyro, whenever he's going around these little worlds trying to free all his dragon buddies and everything, he also comes along and finds this little pipsqueak who, kidnaps and takes little dragon eggs. So he has to chase him around, too, to get the eggs back. So that's fun. But, that's pretty much the premise of the first game. You're going around, you're freeing the dragons. A little bonus is you're getting back the dragon eggs. But at the very end, you get to fight Nork, who froze everybody or turned everybody to stone. So that's the fun part.
I like that you just call him Nork. His name is Nasty Nork.
It's Nork. The last name is Nork. So
do you go strictly by your last name? To be fair, if my first name was Nasty, I probably would. I would just go by Nork.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is what Spyro says to a lot of the dragons when he frees them.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, "Where's Nork? Give me Nork. I want Nork."
Yeah, you might be right about that. To be a little fair to anybody who's listening or watching this, I haven't played the first one in quite a while. I played the game multiple times, but I didn't replay the first one at all recently.
So that's the first one.
That is the first game in the series. I know in the first one, you can't touch water. It kills you. It doesn't. It doesn't. You have a little dragonfly that follows you around, Sparks. He is basically your life force. So he changes colors based on your health. Yellow means you're full health. He then goes to blue. That means you've lost 1 hit. Yeah. And then green means you've lost 2 hits. He'll disappear.
One. Yeah.
After that, and then it's just you and he's gone. And if you get hit again in that state without getting a butterfly, then you die. That was 1 life gone. And you do have lives, like you collect lives like Mario, if you've ever played that. 1-ups and that kind of thing do exist in Spyro.
Just gotta find them.
Yeah, in the first one, they're like little dragon statue things, very mini type things, I think. Or they're in those purple chests, right?
They're in
Like,
sorry, they're in multiple chests. Like, it's not just purple ones. Because I found some that were in chests, like, mixed with gems.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. But generally, it's just a 1-up if it's a purple chest and it kind of has eyes that peek out, like it opens up some, like, eyeball. And then it closes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like a clam. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that one is always a 1-up.
Yes,
yeah.
that's the one I think of as a 1-up.
I have gotten one from, like, just the regular chest that you, like, blow or run into to get gems from, too. I have gotten 1-ups from them before, too.
Those are your lives. I guess it's just game over if you lose them all. I don't know that I've ever gotten that bad.
You restart.
There are definitely...
I went, no.
There are definitely some levels that I'll lose a lot of lives on, but it's easy to gain more lives in the first one because it's easy in the remastered too, but that's different. In the first game, after you've killed an enemy once, but you leave that area and then come back because there are portals to you have a main world, like a base world, and then in that world there's a bunch of portals that bring you to little mini worlds inside of that land. And so every time you go into one and then come back out, all the enemies respawn. But when the enemies respawn, they all start with gems. You can collect gems because they're the treasures of the dragon world, I guess. We all like treasure. They're dragons. That's one of those known things about dragons. Breathe fire, fly, collect treasure. That's what dragons do. Sometimes they steal princesses, but not these dragons. Or guard princesses. I don't. Depends.
I was like, they steal them?
Yeah, I know. So it's like, I don't know. Like they're keeping them hostage. I don't know. It just depends on the story, I think. But anyway, that's not in Spyro.
That would be an interesting Spyro game, though.
It would be a different game altogether, for sure. If you were playing the dragon that's keeping princesses hostage.
Oh my gosh.
That would be something. But after you kill the enemies in the world the first time, you get the gems from them. But when you leave and come back and they've respawned, you get these little silver things. And when you get, I don't know if it's 10 or what, but you build up on them and it gives you a free life. So it's pretty easy to get enough lives that you're not going to have a start over if you're willing to do that kind of thing. What do they call it? Grinding. I wouldn't call that a grind, but I can see where some people would be very bored just doing that. But I mean, that's kind of the thing with Spyro. You can shoot fire. He's a small dragon.
Yeah.
This is for anyone who's never played Spyro and doesn't know anything about him. He's smaller compared to every dragon he will meet. He's looks like a baby compared to them. Until you get to the third game in the series where you actually see the babies. But he's little. And I assumed that was because he wasn't fully grown yet. So that's why he's like in a, adolescent state. So yeah, he's smaller. He can't fly, but he can glide, and he can breathe fire, and he charges. Like, he can charge with his horns because he has horns. Charging's one of the fun ways to get around. So you're always kind of running through the level in a charge, so it's easy to just take out enemies. And Sparks, your little dragonfly, scoops down and collects the treasures that fall from them when it's working. Because
I don't know what you're talking about there.
That is another issue. And again, it's been a long time since I've played the actual PlayStation 1 game, so I don't know how well it works. I just don't remember it being so finicky about picking up the gems. Because I feel like in this one, Sparks sometimes just, like in the remastered, he's really just hanging out. I could be right next to a gem, and I'm like, pick it up. Don't make me walk into it myself to pick it up. You're supposed to scoop that thing up for me.
Oh, I always just get my own gems because he's always flying around doing God knows what. So
exactly.
I just get my own gems. So.
That's what I'm saying. It's but I don't think it used to be that bad in the original. No. But I don't know. It's been so many years since I played that. Well over 10. I'm an old woman. I can't remember back when I was 15 and playing that game on the regular or younger. All right. So that is the first game.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Pretty much sums up the first one.
Yeah, and that's the one you played the most. You didn't play basically any of the other ones.
I like the first one the most because I think that one is more chill to play anyway. I mean, like, I did play some of the second one. The third one, I tried to get into, and I just rather watch people play it because I'm like, I don't know why. The third one just wasn't doing it for me at all. But, like, when I was playing the second one, I was like, this one seems more upbeat or more something like you have to be more active in it than like you are in the first one. Because in my mind, I'm like, the first one, you're just running around, you're collecting gems, you're freeing dragons. So like that's a chill game to me. So say, you know, I'm having a bad day at work or something, I come home, I just want to relax and play a chill game. I could do that on Spyro, like the first one. But the second one, if I come home and I throw that on, it's like I would probably be yelling at the TV some because yeah.
I
mean,
don't.
You saw the clip that I sent you. I couldn't even freaking lie.
That was the first one. You showed me. You showed me the first game.
The first one?
You specifically told me it was the first game. So I was like, after I was looking at it, I was like, oh wait, I think this might actually be the first one. And so then I had text back. I was like, or is this the first one? You were like, yes.
Yeah. I always, even with the 90s one.
Yeah, it's not that you couldn't glide. It's just that they set up the levels in such a way that sometimes you have to hit things just right, especially in the first one. That was part of the gameplay because it's a kind of a slightly action, slightly platform game. So, like, platforming games are like Mario, where you're just going through the level, you jump up and down and do whatever. And then the action is like fighting the guys. So you have to flame people. Some things you have to flame, some things you have to charge. Yep, some things you have to wait till their back is turned. I mean, it's just, you know, a little bit of knowledge of gameplay to play it. Like, you couldn't just go in and not know anything. I don't think I could give Mom that game and let her play it. She wouldn't like it at all. Even though it is definitely a kid-friendly game. Like,
all of them are.
It was definitely made for, like, kids to play.
Yeah, the younger,
Because I definitely noticed that when I started replaying it recently because I knew we were going to do this. I was like, boy, some of this is really kind of cheesy dialogue, like a cartoon. And but I was like, I guess they have always kind of been that way. Spyro is one of those fun games or fun universes, I guess, because even the first game starts out like the reason Nasty Nork knows that they called him ugly is because they're doing an interview for TV. So they have a camera system and the dragons are talking to somebody on it. Like, I don't know why. And then he's seeing it live. So it's a live broadcast and he sees that. And that's just the universe. So apparently they have TVs, even though we never see anything like that.
I know.
I mean, it's just fun like that, where you understand what's going on. It just sets it up and it's all kind of goofy. So it's definitely set up that way, where you're not supposed to think about it too hard. And I can meet it on that level. Like, if I wanted to be really mean about it, I could nitpick stuff like that. Where's the TVs? Who's recording this? But I wouldn't, because that's not the premise. It's just setting it up and it's there to be funny. When stuff's there for comedy, then I can laugh at it. So it's like, that's funny. All right. So the second game, what's the plot, Vicky?
The plot. Okay. So at the end of the first one, Spyro freed all the dragons. And then on the second one, he freed them all. So now he wants to go on vacation. Okay. So he thinks he's going on vacation. Little does he know that's not happening. No. He gets called to a place called Avalar. And when he goes there, there's this guy called Ripto or something like that. And, I don't know. Just the voice of Ripto just annoyed the crap out of me so bad. I don't think I ever played the second one, like the 90s version of it, so I don't know what it sounded like in the original game. But like the newer one, just the voice, I was just like, oh my god, I am not going to be able to play this game very long. Like, if he's going to be in this like all throughout, I don't know. Like, I would have to mute it or something. I don't know. It's probably me, like, because, you know, I get annoyed with stuff very easily. But just the voice of him, I was like, oh my God. And then the fact that he says, I hate dragons. And it's like, well, they probably don't like you either. So who cares? Like,
I think it's funny that Ripto kind of looks like a dragon, like without the wings and stuff. So it's like,
yeah.
Why do you hate dragons?
He's definitely some kind of reptile.
Yeah.
Reptilian creature. But
I mean, he is the main bad guy. I don't know if I would say he's in it a lot, but he's definitely in like the major cutscenes and stuff for the advancing the plot, because he is the big bad of that game.
Yeah, he's the guy that you have to beat at the very end. Okay. But yeah, he took over Avalar, so Spyro has to go and make things right.
Avalar is a new world. It's not part of the dragon world. He's never been there. It's like a different universe. So
he thought he was going on vacation.
Yeah, he thought he was going to
Spyro.
I forget. They probably said, but Dragon Shores, I think. So he thought he was going to Dragon Shores.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And instead, the creatures of that world, which become main characters for the series as a whole.
Their names.
I figured you could. There's like Alora, who's a fawn centaur girl. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then Hunter is a cheetah.
Yeah.
And then there's a humanoid pig creature professor. And just every world in their world has different main characters, which I guess the original sort of does too. Like there's different things going on in that world. But mostly it's just dragons that inhabit it. And then sheep, or is it always sheep? No, and like frogs and stuff in different.
There's frogs and chickens. Yeah.
Those little tiny creatures in the original Spyro are the ones that give you, like, restore your health if you charge them or flame them. That still exists in the second game. The second game adds a lot of besides just characters, but those ones are the main characters. They are the reason Spyro's brought there. They're helping him, and they need his help. I mean, that's why they brought him there. They specifically needed a dragon's help, and Spyro's the one that happened to be the one. And he is willing to help. Apparently, he just likes to, help out. He really got a taste for it after he had to save all of dragonkind in the last game. So he's like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So they also have main worlds, like a main world, which there's 3 of them in that game. They have little portals that go to other worlds, and all of those worlds each have their own characters and little storylines going on in them. So that's different than the first one, for sure, where you're just going into a world trying to find dragons and save them. Yeah. Like, that's your main objective, and get treasure and save the eggs. That's it.
Right.
That's the only things you can do for the most part in the original. And this one, there's lots of mini little quests you can do to help out the inhabitants of the world. And a different feature of that game, it's called Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Ripto is the bad guy.
Yeah. So I do gotta say, Moneybags was my favorite freaking character in this game. This game, I was like, oh my God, I will give you all of my gems. You are friggin' adorable.
I didn't think
it just made me think of the real world.
Oh, like real life. Well, you said the real world, and I was thinking like the TV show, The Real World. And I was like, what about it? And it's like, wait, did Vicky ever watch that show? I know I never watched The Real World.
I don't think I did.
I feel like that was just a little older than like our time, but
he was definitely my favorite character though.
Yeah, Moneybags is, I think his voice acting is pretty good throughout the thing, because that's one of my main issues with the remaster is the voices are. So many of them are just they don't hold up to the original. Yeah. And I know some of that is probably just nostalgia because I grew up playing the original 90s, and I love those voice actors and love the voices of the characters. But some of it is like, I really can't stand the voice that it's like they're trying to imitate the original, but also failing really badly. And they're not doing, I feel like they gave more energy or something in the original 90s versions. And these ones are just like
more chill.
Yeah.
Is it working, Professor?
Almost. Just a few more adjustments to these orbs and...
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto angrier.
Calm down, Hunter, and stop fidgeting. Is it working, Professor?
Almost. Just a few more adjustments to these orbs and...
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto more angry.
Calm down, Hunter, and stop fidgeting.
It's like, you're supposed to be upset. Your world's being taken over. Show some emotion. But
yeah, I feel like the gameplay was better with the original version too. Like the graphics are definitely better with the newer ones.
The graphics are pretty. They're pretty to look at. But I think that also kind of takes away from the game as well, because like they add all this grass and different stuff and it hides the gems like way more than a pixelated, like more angular stuff did in the original. Right. And it's just like those gems can be super hard to find. And they must have known that because, which I did not know when I finished the second game recently, but I read it when I was doing the third one. Started the third one, that if you press down, I think it's the L3 button, like your joystick, sparks will point you in the direction of a gem, which is so helpful if you're trying to 100% the game, which I do because I know I'm capable of it because I did it in the originals. So it's like, I'm going to 100% this because I know I can do it. But when you're missing one gem in a world, it is so annoying to go through the entire world looking in every nook and cranny that you could possibly, like, maybe it's over here, maybe it's here. And then it's like, oh, there it is, finally found it. But it's a lot more helpful if you could just hold down that button and Sparks is like, hey, it's over here. And so you keep going and then you'll still don't see it. All right, press it again. See if he changed angles. That's helpful. But
I don't remember if I told you. I did find out that you can lock the camera.
Right.
However,
I was going to tell you
whenever
that
you do that, it still sucks. Like the camera, it sucks so bad. The camera sucks anyway because you have to control Spyro and the camera, so that to me that sucks because I've never been good at games like that where you have to control the camera and the character, which is why I don't play a lot of games like that. It's like I just want to focus on the character and what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to have to sit here and move the camera around wherever I'm supposed to go. The camera's supposed to be following me like that. I guess that's what I'm used to or something. I don't know. Right. So whenever I figured out that you could lock the camera on, that camera was like so far behind me. I'm still literally using my finger to control the camera myself because I'm like, the camera's not even keeping up with me. So I still have to do it myself. So yeah. And the whole camera lock thing didn't do nothing.
And I play so many games that it's like, I'm used to that. It does not bother me at all. But I can tell you, just recently in the third game, I went into a level, went to go do something, and the camera freaked out. Like, it got stuck in some weird spot, and then I could not see anything. Like, it was just a big, not even completely black screen, but it was like it was stuck inside a mountain or something. And so, but I could still move the character because I could hear him bump into things. But
you just can't see where you're going.
I could not see anything, so I had to exit the level manually, which you can do. You can hit the start button and go to exit level, but I don't like to do that. I've never had that happen. I don't know if that's something that could have happened in the original, but I know it happened in the remake, and I was like, that's not a good design. That's not good. But I am used to like controlling cameras, so it's not a big deal to me. But I do agree that this camera is super floaty and kind of just like all over the place. Yes. Yeah. Especially if you're not holding it yourself, if you're not controlling its every move and just wanted to do whatever. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, whenever I was playing it, I was like, boy, this is almost reminding me of Left 4 Dead, because it's like I liked playing Left 4 Dead, but having to control the camera and, you know, control where you're shooting and everything, it's like I was never good at that at all. It's like I was always shooting at the ground or something, and it's like, I can't do this. I can't do two things at once. I need to focus on what my character is supposed to do and not worry about where the camera is supposed to go. I am not that type of person. I can't do two things at once.
And so many games. That must be why you don't play so many games, because
probably
most games now you control the camera. Yeah, which is why I'm just used to it. It's just like the way that things work.
Yeah, I don't like games like that.
One of the things about Spyro too, when I first played it, when you first ended up in Avalar, the world looked so beautiful. Like, I just remember, I mean, even though the graphics were not amazing because it's all angles, and I think it was it's stylized in a way that you just like it. And I just thought that it was such a gorgeous place. And one of the different things of that game was that, and, you know, I didn't know this first going into it, is that you can touch water now. Not only can you touch it, you will eventually be able to swim in, like, dive down in the water and breathe and be fine. But
once you pay money back.
Yeah, exactly. Once you pay for that ability, he teaches you how to do stuff. What a kind guy.
I know.
But I realized that because I could go up to the water. You know, you go up to the water and you see this big pool of water and you see gems underneath the water. And I was like, well, there's gems down there. I know we're supposed to get gems. How am I supposed to get those? Water hurts you. And then it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt you here.
Yeah.
It's like, this water is actually safe. Okay, great. And so it's just one of those things you learn from being able to see it. But in the remaster, this is a big critique I have for it. The water does not look clear. It is a blue color that's just like, you can barely see through it at all. So if I only played this game and I played the first one and was like, oh, water hurts me, I would never know that I could touch that water and not be hurt until I got to somebody who was like, hey, why aren't you touching water? Let me teach you to swim in this stuff or whatever.
Yeah, there's gems under there.
But I just remember, like, running around the world in the original and just swimming and having a good time, finding all the little secrets, and man, that world was just gorgeous. The first world you're in, I was just like, oh, I love it. I want to live here. I could imagine living in this world and it would be so fun and cool. Some of the other things about that one that's changed because of the remaster and or just the voice acting in general was that Spyro and Alora, I think, something like that, the main girl who brought him here, they had kind of this flirty little relationship in the original, and that does not come through at all. With the voice acting of the remaster, you're just like, oh, they're just like nothing. Yeah, little subtle things like that really make a difference, and they kind of dropped the ball, I feel like, on that in the remaster. But that's one of those things that I think people don't realize how much you can do with your voice subtly to change stuff like that. And if you don't have an ear for it, or you just don't understand, you're just like, okay, well, gotta do this too, because I can't get these voices, the same voice actors, or I don't know. I didn't look into why they didn't have the same voice actors. It's very possible some of them died. It's possible some of them wanted more money than they were willing to give, or were not available, or who knows. I don't know. Not me. I didn't look it up, so I don't know why. But, when you just, time to get voices for this, that'll do. And so it's like, if you don't understand what you're doing, then it shows. And it changes things, changes dynamics. But the one I hated the most is Hunter. I could not stand that one. I just could not. I'm like, I really, really wish I could have got that original voice actor, because this guy, not cutting it.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto angrier.
Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Bringing a dragon here could just make Ripto more angry.
And he's a big part of the game. Like, he's not only in the whole second game, like, he is another main character that you interact with constantly. Like, he'll show up in the levels with you and do stuff with you. But he's also in the third game.
Which is funny.
And a big part of the third game.
Because I thought he died at the end of the second one.
What? No.
Yeah, it shows him dying off in the corner. He's fallen off the edge.
I don't even know what part you're thinking of.
I'll have to show you the video.
I guess so. Because I'm like, I just beat that one, and I didn't have that. Like, I just beat the second game. And I definitely don't ever remember seeing Hunter die.
Yeah.
It just falls off an edge. Falls off a cliff, I guess.
Yeah. No, you're on top of the building fighting Ripto. You know, he's throwing the gems at you or whatever, and you got to throw them back to him. Yeah, well, apparently, the cheetah dude gets up there too, and I don't know, he fell off the edge.
I don't know, I'd have to see it.
Yeah, I'll have to find the video and show you.
Definitely didn't happen in my game.
Maybe it only happens to certain people. I don't know. I didn't get that far. I watched somebody else do it because I'm a cheater.
Right, and you watched them play the original, not the remaster.
Yeah, it was the original. So it might not even be something that can happen now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been some kind of weird glitch that was known to happen, and then they fixed that. I don't know, but I don't remember.
Like, it is weird that he's back because he died at the end of the second one.
Yeah, I didn't get the feeling that he died. And now, Vicky, what's the plot of the third game?
The third one, there's this sorceress who hires a little, I don't know if it's a dog or what, I don't know what.
She's a bunny. Bunny girl.
Well, every time I see her, she's got her hood up, so I don't know.
It's true.
But
it's a surprise that she's a rabbit. They had to reveal that. I don't know why. I don't know what about it made it so special that it was like, oh, rabbit girl. I don't know. It's not like rabbits meant anything special in the Spyro universe. So.
But the sorceress, I guess she hired her, Bianca, I think was her name, to go and steal all the dragon eggs from everybody, which was funny because they were all just sleeping there. So it's like you would think that they would hear something, or I don't know, whatever.
Well, I think the
dragons don't have good hearing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the dragons have proven themselves to be not that competent at anything. I mean, the only one who's halfway competent is Spyro. After all the dragons managed to get trapped in crystal in the first game. Yeah. From far away, like Astinor didn't come to them. He just had that ability and was insulted by them on public television. I don't know. At least, broadcast TV. Live television being insulted, and he was okay with it up to the point they called him ugly. So they went a step too far, so they've proven they're not that smart either.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't like him. He didn't like him, but, I don't think he was going to trap him. It was kind of like, that's it. Yeah. That's the straw that broke this camel's back. Crystal for everyone.
But yeah, Spyro has to go and get all the dragon eggs back. The third one, like I said, I couldn't really get into it that much. It was cool that with the third one, you can play as different characters. But then it almost seemed like there was times that you were forced to play as different characters too. And it's like, I thought the whole point of Spyro is to be Spyro. So it's like, I don't know.
I would say if you want to 100% the game, you definitely are forced to play. And I think you have to play at least their level as them to get to the next level, because you have to go to all the worlds. And this, except the flying levels, because you need all those characters to help you get to the next world. And they're always one of the main worlds you have to get. But definitely to 100% it, because, in different worlds, there are little portals you go into. It's like portals inside of portals inside of portals. The third one. But you have your main world, then you go into your portal world, which is like your sub world, and then inside of there you go into a black sparkly portal that brings you to another area that's just mini games inside of the level.
Or mini games.
I know, but in some of those, and it always tells you which character it is. It's got a little sign posted outside that this is Sheila, or this is Commander Bird. I don't know what his name is. And then the Yeti.
Yeah, I didn't like those flying ones either. Like those worlds or whatever.
Yeah, that's been
just because they're timed.
Yeah, that's been since the first one. That there's always like a level that's a flying. It supposedly in the first one was supposed to be flying training. So if he mastered all those courses, he should be able to fly, except by the second one, that was not the case. He could not fly still. He can only fly successfully all the time in those worlds. Now, I haven't gotten all the way, I haven't redone the third one.
Right.
To completion. One of the things is you collect the eggs, and then as you collect them, all the eggs hatch into little dragons. They all have names for them, it matters, but I'm just like, how many names did you guys come up with? Some of them are normal names, and some of them are oh, that's an interesting name. I mean, they're all names I've heard of, but definitely not names you hear every day either. Probably because they needed at least 100. I'm sure there's at least 100 eggs. So they were like, I don't know, let's come up with another name. Let's tick that off. All right, this one. The dragons, and maybe it's just because of the design of everybody, it's so rounded and sleek looking and whatever, for it being remastered. The dragons just didn't look as cute to me. All these baby dragons, every time they hatched. I mean, sometimes they do cute things this one sneezed as soon as he's hatched, or this one's being modest and covering up his nakedness, even though every dragon everywhere is naked. None of them wear clothes. Sometimes they wear hats, I think, but that's about it. And so it's I don't know. Maybe he's just embarrassed in general, and the shell just didn't cover his whole body, so that was all you saw. Yeah, nothing about it was as cute, but I also haven't really seen the original in a long time, so it's possible I'm just, in my head, oh, that was so cute, and they look so cute, but really, in reality, it's no, it's the same. I would just look at it and be like, yeah, look at that. They're doing a little trick. Okay, moving on.
It's funny, though, to me that Spyro and Crash, they're the opposites. Because, with Spyro, I like the first one the best. But then with Crash, I like the second two the best. The second one and the third one the best. I didn't really care for the first one.
Yeah, the first Crash Bandicoot is ridiculously hard compared to the other two. They do get progressively easier, and you get progressively better power-ups, which is kind of the same with Spyro. Though if you like the more simplistic play, Spyro is definitely easier because you get and learn more things, like how to head bash, how to hover, how to swim. You learn all that in the second game, and then they reteach you in the third one. But you don't pay for it. They just kind of tell you about it. So if you already knew how to do it, you could do it. Which, that's nice, because I was a little I hate games like that where it's if it's a sequel, but then you have to relearn everything you already learned. It's like, how did I forget how to do this basic stuff? I kind of had that issue with Tears of the Kingdom, which is a direct sequel from Breath of the Wild. So Zelda titles for anyone who doesn't know. It was like some things you had to relearn and you didn't still have your old stuff. I don't know. I was just like, all right, I understand that this happened, but Link didn't lose his memory. He seems to know everything that's gone on. So why doesn't he still have his hearts and his stamina that I had from the last game? I mean, I know why, because it's a game and they want you to pick it up and, gain them again. But it was a little like, he should still know how to do this. I should still have the ability to use bombs and, whatever I had in the last game. But no, it's not a part of this game. So you can't do that. And I guess I would have taken it a little better if they were like, oh, he did lose his memory, or all of the last game got knocked out of him. But it's pretty established that no, he knows what's going on. He's trying to find Zelda just like everybody else. So I'm like, just forgot all the important stuff. But I hate, I don't like things like that. It's like you should still know how to do stuff. So I like it that they basically were like that with Spyro and the third one, like, oh, you still know how to do this stuff. So if you know how to do it, great. If you don't, let me tell you how to do it. Not let me make you pay for it or you relearn it. It's like you're relearning it and that I'm telling you what buttons to push, but not like you couldn't do this before I told you about it.
I don't know. After the second one, I didn't, like I said, I didn't even finish the second one.
Yeah, I know. It's like you didn't really like that one that much either. I don't know why you thought it, I don't think it was less relaxing. I do think Spyro's one of those things you can play for 10 minutes and that's it. It's not something I need to set 30 minutes or an hour to do. It's like I could play a level or two in 5 minutes and complete the whole level, 100% it, because they're not that complicated. I mean, some levels are harder than others, so I might not be able to do it depending on the level. But for the most part, I did 3 or 4 levels yesterday in 15 minutes. So
you saw my clip, so I did that for a good probably 5-10 minutes.
15 minutes.
I'm done.
15 minutes of gliding into a wall. I go, bang, bang, bang. Oh, I banged my.
Yeah,
I banged too hard. My camera knocked off. To be fair, that was all me. I still find it easy, and not anything overly challenging, but we're each different people.
Yeah, I do think you played more Spyro.
Originals. I 100%. You don't have to think about it. I definitely played a lot of Spyro, and Spyro was I liked Crash. I think Crash 3 was probably the one we had first, and then I got the other ones after that. I played way more Spyro than I did because Spyro has a plot. Crash is, I guess there's sort of a plot, but it's not much of a plot. Crash doesn't even have a voice actor. He's just there. The ones who are voiced are the Tiki Mask and the bad guys. And Crash is just hanging out. But Spyro has a personality and all of his companions have personality. And by the second game, all of the other characters inside of other worlds all have personalities, and that continues into the third game too.
And I didn't know this, but Cortex was voiced by Clancy. Is that his name? Clancy Brown or whatever, the guy who did Detroit, the cop in Detroit.
Oh, really?
He did the voice of Cortex.
But I was now that you say it, I can hear it.
You can hear it.
I can hear it in my head. It's yeah, okay. That does make sense. He's been an actor for years and years and years, and a voice actor probably for many of those years as well. Maybe the whole time. I don't know. But, he's acted in plenty of things throughout his whole career.
I guess I just didn't know him whenever I was playing Crash, though, because I definitely wouldn't have known that was him.
Right. Now, is that just the original or the original and the remake?
Original.
Okay.
That's the original that I know of. I don't know if he did the remake too.
I don't know. I don't know if they were able to just. I don't think they were. I think they had to re-record stuff because if I remember, the masks sound different. But it's possible they still could have gotten him to do it, and it's possible he did. I don't know. When I was looking up like the voices for Spyro, I found out Elijah Wood voiced Spyro once, and I was like, not in the games, but like a TV show. I don't know.
Yeah, a cartoon,
I didn't even know there was a TV show, but I was like, and when I listened to it, I was like, yep, that's Elijah Wood. You can tell it's him. But I was like, yeah, it also kind of makes sense for Spyro. He kind of has that kind of voice too, so I can see it.
I feel like they make TV shows for everything nowadays.
Well, I'm sure it was a while ago.
Back in the
Spyro's
day.
not exactly the on everybody's mind at the moment.
Oh, they did that with Sonic too. Like when Sonic came out, I feel like they made a bunch of friggin' TV shows.
Oh yeah, Sonic's a different beast. I don't even know if it was just a game first and then they made it a cartoon, but that cartoon was like forever ago. And then they continued to make them because he was so popular. Yeah. Spyro was never that popular.
Yeah.
Now they did for a while, like before the Nintendo Amiibos. Spyro kind of inspired that type of thing though, because Skylanders was like a big thing. That was like it was little characters that you bought in the video game section of stores.
Right.
And I don't know. They obviously played with some game, but I never played those games. I was already too old at that point, I guess. Plus, that stuff was all expensive. I'm like, I can't afford that. One of the issues with Spyro, especially in the second, third game, because they teach you how to hover, which is a thing you need to do to get to certain areas. That button does not always work. Like, they tell you how to do it, and sometimes instead of hovering over to where you need, because what you need to do is go up to basically a cliff. You're gliding to it from far away, and you're going to be slightly lower than where you need to be, so you would hit triangle right when you get there and hold the arrow to go up, like still go forward. And you're supposed to lift up a little bit over the lip of the edge. But sometimes you hit that button and you just plummet. So that is not something they fixed in the remake, because that happened to me quite frequently. And it still is happening to me when I'm like, again. Very annoying. One of the other issues I have, at least with the remake, I don't know if it was an issue in the original, because again, it's been so long since I played them, is when you pick up a rock in your mouth, again, this is the second and third game, I don't know if you ever do it in the first, to shoot at an enemy that's like in the air or something, it has a little circle on the screen that you're supposed to aim with, but it's a terrible aiming system. Because you have to constantly either go up more or down more, and it's just like almost never, unless maybe you're right on top of something, which is not good if it's an enemy because enemies hurt you.
Right.
Then you can't fit it where the circle is. You have to like aim up or down, which I don't like, especially if the enemies actually move, because then it makes it almost impossible to hit them, and it's just going to be luck if you can or not.
Wow. Yeah, see, all that stuff just sounds like it would stress me out, so that don't sound like a relaxing game to me.
Well, I don't know if it's stressful, it's just annoying. I don't know if things that annoy you automatically mean stress, but I mean, I've definitely gotten to points where I've been stressed for the game, or a game stops being fun. Like, it becomes more of a chore, which I haven't gotten to that with Spyro yet. But I could see it if I'm, like, trying to 100% it and all of these little issues are coming up with it, where I could definitely at one point be like, yeah, this is not worth it. This isn't fun. It's just me trying to get this trophy or whatever.
Yeah, it ain't that important. That's probably what I would be saying to myself. You know what? This ain't that important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are definitely games and things I've done that with. It's like, okay, I'm done with this because this is more annoying to me than it is fun to play. Yeah. Like, it is stressful. Like, I'm just stressing myself out instead of relaxing and playing, which is what a game should be. It should not be, I'm tense and angry.
I honestly think Stardew Valley is the most relaxing game you can play.
It is an awesome game. Like, I told you should play it. Put me on and I wasn't game, wrong, was I, Vicky? No, I was right, as usual. I was like, you know what? You should listen to me. Because this game is actually amazing, and I've put more hours into Stardew Valley than I've probably played any other game ever, because I have it on multiple platforms. So I'm like, I want to play it downstairs, I want to play it on my computer, I want to play it on my PlayStation.
I do have it on my computer, I just haven't played it on there yet.
Well, you should some point. And I have so many farms. Like, I usually get to a point in Stardew Valley where I'll restart, but we should save this for Stardew Valley.
yeah we'll definitely do one about Stardew Valley.
But Stardew Valley's great, for sure.
I feel like that might be a long podcast, though.
To be fair, this one's kind of gone a little long.
The gaming ones might be a little long, people.
I actually don't know if Stardew Valley would be that long.
Oh, I feel like it would be. You know, with me. I have plenty to say, and you would correct me or laugh at me and be like, oh, Vicky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what you do, or, you know.
Oh, Vicky, why? Yeah, of course that happened to you. Yeah. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's bad.
Yep, that's how that's going to go. So is that it for this one, or did you have more to say for Spyro?
No, those were the main things I wanted to talk about. I think I've hit everything. All of my main issues and critiques have been displayed for everyone to either agree or disagree with. Or maybe
I do like
nobody else has ever played Spyro the Dragon, and they don't care at all about any of it.
They'd be like, what the fuck is Spyro? Yeah,
that was your first swear that I noticed.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to be good.
I know. I could tell at one point. I was like, oh, he's really trying.
But yeah, the first one's definitely my favorite. I tried with the second one, couldn't get into it. Third one, I didn't even bother because, you know, I'm like, if I can't even get into the second one, why would I like the third one? So
the third one's back in the dragon world, sort of. See, whereas the second one went to a whole nother universe. Avalar. Yeah, Avalar, because they stole Spyro, kind of, and then held him hostage. Until he fixed their world for them. The third one is them going to, I think they called it the Lost Worlds or something to that effect. I forget exactly what they called it. But the dragon, like the older dragons were like, oh yeah, we know where that is. Just go there and get our eggs for us. Will you, Spyro? You're the only one that can fit down this hole. That was literally what they said. Because, again, it's a cartoon. It's just like a big old cartoon. Oh, we can't fit. See, we tried. It didn't work out. Like, okay, I'll go because I'm tiny. And I'm also the only hero you guys have. Really.
Yeah. Oh, I will say this, though. Like, at the beginning part of Spyro 2, another thing that did kind of, I was like, I don't totally understand this. Is like, you know, instead of dropping gems whenever you kill somebody, they drop souls. Right. But then they brought out a character called Moneybags that you have to give gems to. I was like, what?
I know. It is actually very convenient that gems still exist in Avalar. But inconvenient that the enemies aren't also made of gems or whatever.
Yeah,
that was one of the things I was going to say about the second one compared to both the third and the first one, is that the enemies don't drop gems. They do have spirits that go into a power-up system for every world. Every world has them, every one of them. I mean, all of the, you know, mini worlds that there are. And one of them makes you fly in that world. One of them makes you breathe really strong fire. One of them makes you, like, be able to walk on lava, that kind of stuff. You have to kill so many enemies. Oh, one of them's, like, bounces you up. That might only be in one world. It's definitely one that I had to go to and, like, get some stuff to get all the trophies. But, Yeah, those specific power-ups, you have to kill a certain number of enemies to activate the power-up, or else it's just like a little thing there that's like, oh, with a number that tells you how many you need. And you're just like, oh, I don't have that many yet. But in the first and third ones, the enemies just have gems. Like, that's all they have, which is fine. Though there are still power-ups in the third one. It's just, they're just already activated. If they're there, then they're activated. They're like, yeah, sometimes you do need to fly still, but not now. You don't need to kill so many enemies. And this world, you don't need to fly. Don't worry about it.
And the third one is called the Forgotten Realm.
The Forgotten Realm. Yeah, that's it. Forgotten. It's obviously forgotten. That's why you know about it. Like, it's forgotten because we want to forget about it. Like, again, I haven't really finished it, so I don't know. But I believe the plot is dragons used to be in that world, the Forgotten Realm, that side of the world or whatever. And then for whatever reason, they all left. I don't know if it was because of the big bad or not. But I wouldn't think she's that old, but I don't. And so the reason they're stealing all the eggs is because they need to bring dragons back because magic is like dying. And so all their portals to all these other worlds are closing. And dragons actually help with that. But the dragons want their eggs, so Spyro has to go save them. But I guess probably the end of it is the dragons come back there and help, activate all the magic portals again, because I know in the first level, at the very least, it was like you had to have so many eggs to like be able to get into some of the worlds. It was it was like, oh, you don't have enough eggs, and that's because dragons have magic, and magic is what we need. All the magic is slowly disappearing from our world, and so many of the characters are like, oh, I thought dragons were extinct. And it's like, Spyro's just like, no, we just been doing whatever, because he's a snarky little dragon.
Little dragon.
Yeah. Again, it's like a cartoon. And it's probably why I liked it more, because everybody has a personality and there's more story going on. And again, it's not that there was zero story in Crash Bandicoot. It was just that there wasn't as much story. I mean, the first one's literally just, oh, my girlfriend got kidnapped. Guess I'm going to go save her. And then the second two are like, girlfriend? What girlfriend? Here's a sister for you instead. She's cool.
Yeah, right. I do like them, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun. They're fun, but I don't think I could talk about them for any length of time. Just levels that you go through and collect fruit and beat the bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's all about how much fruit you collect.
You gotta get crystals.
Yeah, in Spyro you get gems, and you have dragons you're saving, or eggs you're saving, or you're collecting talismans from all the worlds in the second one, and also saving their world from this, bad guy. There's always, and there's a different bad guy in each of the Spyros, whereas in Crash it's always
the same ones. Yeah, that is true.
Which, I mean, sometimes it's good to have like a solid villain for your protagonist to be against, but I also like that it's like, no, he literally beat them. He's gone. Nasty Nork, gone. Ripto, he's gone. This weird queen, once we kill her, she's gone. I forget what her name is. I'm sure she probably has one.
I thought they just kept calling her the sorceress.
Oh, sorceress, yeah. The sorceress, she's gone. We did it. I do kind of think that again, I haven't gotten there, so I don't know for sure. This could just be me totally imagining something out of thin air. But I thought it was implied or outright stated by the sorceress at the end that she had gotten Ripto to somehow go to Avalar, but I don't know. Don't know if that's true.
I don't know either.
Like I said, that could all be in my head. I could have dreamed that up at some point.
Oh, Lord.
I guess I did have a little more to say about
that. Just a little.
A little bit more.
20 minutes later.
Yeah.
You need to get one of those things to pop up on the screen.
Yeah. I think that's all I have to say about that.
All right. That is it for Spyro. Okay, well, we want to thank you for listening and or watching, and we hope that you continue to listen and hope you enjoy our podcast and enjoy watching us, listening to us. Hopefully we are able to entertain you a little bit at least, if not for the full length of the podcast. Hopefully you get a little bit of entertainment out of it.
Even 2 minutes of entertainment's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It would be funny if you listened to like an hour-long podcast and we're like, I was entertained for 2 minutes. Totally worth
for like, 5 minutes, but other than that, I got bored with them.
Yeah, I don't know why I listened the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for listening. Yep, this has been Two Sisters, One Brain podcast. I'm Vicky.
I'm Liz.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.